The Autopsy of Jane Doe is a new horror movie directed by Andre Overdahl, whose first project was the excellent Troll Hunters.
Can I see one?
What? No.
What's that for?
Make sure he's dead.
Sheriff. What happened?
No ID, no fingerprints in the system. For now, she's a Jane Doe.
So I had seen the trailer for this like a couple weeks ago, and I thought it looked really good. And the other night it appeared on video on demand, so I watched it right away, and I absolutely loved it. It's one of the best horror movies of the year. You know, it's kind of a shame that it didn't get any kind of release when a lot of much worse movies did. But I think because this movie is a little harder to sell and advertise. Like even in the trailer, you can they kind of cover her, but the whole movie surrounds the autopsy of this woman, Jane Doe, and she's naked for most of it, so it's just a little tougher to sell, I think. But I mean, it's excellent. So the movie starts out where the sheriff, who is played by Michael McElhatton, who is the Bruce Bolton from Game of Thrones, and he comes up on the scene where these people kill each other brutally in this house, and then go into the house. In the basement, partially buried, is this naked girl, and there's nothing wrong with her. She looks almost alive. There's no marks, there's nothing, but she's dead. So they take her to the local coroner and morgue, and that's where you meet our main characters. And that's Emil Hirsch, played Austin Tilden. He's the son. And Brian Cox, who has been in so many movies. He's great in all of them. But he plays the dad, Tommy Tilden. And they're conducting an autopsy of a person that was burned to death. And the idea that the dad's trying to teach him how to find the cause of death. Don't always look for the obvious. There's many times there's something else other than what it seems to be. And their interactions as father and son, I thought were pretty believable. The acting is really good. But I will say, right towards the beginning of the movie, I was like, oh no, this movie gonna suck. Because there's a fake jump scare where his girlfriend pops up behind him, and I was like, oh no, please, I hope the whole movie isn't like this. And the movie wasn't like that. Surprisingly, there were a couple times where I thought there were going to be jump scares, and they really weren't. They were more like this peeping through a crack a hole in the door, and then you think that something's going to jump out. And instead, they kind of showily see whatever is disgusting out there. And I like that, So when the sheriff brings over the Jane Doe, played by Owen Kelly, they started the autopsy, and nothing seems right about it. They said it's nothing, she has no outward signs of injury, but her ankles and wrists have been shattered, and her eyes look they're clouded over in gray, she's been dead for a long time, even though the body looks fresh. And they start opening her up and everything, and they find even more and more stuff that's wrong. And I really love how it's almost like a mystery at times, trying to figure out what happened to her. But then things start going bad, and you got a horror movie. And I love the setting of it is really interesting. It's like an old morgue, but the whole idea is that they've been working there for generations. So it's kind of creepy, but it's cool looking too. It's a nice setting. Now regarding Jane Doe, the girl that plays her is beautiful, and she's naked for most of the movie, but they really kind of desexualized it. It could be very weird, but they're very clinical about it, and I like that how it didn't. They didn't try to sell it as a naked woman or something. It's just that's how they do an autopsy. And how they did it, it was incredibly well done, because they must have had the actual actress laying on the table. Then they had a model that they could dissect. Then they had a couple things that had to have been CGI. And like the mixture of them made it very believable. Like when they're pulling out organs and stuff, I mean, it looked pretty much real. The only thing that I could tell was fake was when they opened her mouth, I saw that they had cut out her tongue, and I think it was the real person with CGI missing tongue. Like it looked a little different. Like it didn't look real. But that was the only time where I really noticed it. Another thing that I loved is that, in almost all horror movie, when things start to go wrong, you always think, just get out of there. You always want them to do something other than what they do. And this movie, I really don't think I would have done anything different from them. But they're trying to investigate the murder of this girl, which I think. And when things start to go wrong, they're like scientists essentially. And they think that something is fake or something's not real. But then at a certain point when this is obviously happening, then they think, okay, let's get the hell out of here. And obviously there's stuff going on where they can't get out. But I love that aspect of it, where I didn't yell at them, like, come on, do something else, like do this, do that. Like, no, I didn't need to. They were doing what they should be doing. The only thing I probably would have done differently is when things were starting to go wrong, I would have stopped trying to figure out what happened to Jane Doe, and instead I would have taken an axe and chopped her up into pieces, and then tried to dispose of it, or do something more like. But that's not who their characters were. And I really admire. The writing is excellent. The direction is excellent. The acting is great. There's one part in the movie where something happened, which was a little bit of a twist, but it was really cool. And when I saw that, I was like, but wait, that doesn't make sense with this other thing that's going on. Like, how would that happen? But they all, in the end, I won't spoil it, but everything is kind of tied up in a nice little knot. The movie explains kind of what happened and how it happened, like in a neat way. Like I suspected something like that might be happening, but how they actually did it was incredibly well done. And I would highly recommend this film. I'd probably give it like an 8.75 out of 10. Maybe a tiny bit more, but I think that's what I'll go for the rating. And if you're a horror fan, you gotta check this out. Right now, no one's really talking about it, and it's an excellent movie. I absolutely loved it. So thanks for watching, and if you want to see some of my other movie series, I have books and movies playlists over here. You can check them out. And thanks for watching.